Hello, and warm welcome to day 4 in our series, Create Your Bubble of Peace. And today we are definitely taking things up, I would say more than one notch. Let's probably say it's probably going to be like maybe 10 notches today. So we've had this nice steady build this week, starting with and calling in angelic peace. The second day, we talked about boundaries, so important. The third day, yesterday, we actually created your bubble of peace. And it was a beautiful experience that we then shared with the people who are in our world. And then we shared it with the entire world. And hello, Eden. Thank you for tuning in live. Appreciate you so much. So today we are moving to the next level. It's one thing to be able to sit quietly in your own space. Hey, Jenna, thanks so much for joining live today. Great to see you. So, as I was saying, it's one thing to create our little bubble of peace when we are alone, when we're on our own space, perhaps within a guided experience like we had yesterday. That is a very important skill. That's an important thing to be able to do to create your bubble of peace. But how do we extend that throughout the rest of the day? So that's what we're going to be tackling today. The topic that I called today was riding the wave. I've got the riding theme here. I wore my horse shirt. So some element of this is how to take your seat and be able to handle challenge. So that is part of what we're going to be getting into with this riding the wave so that you can have an extended experience of peace going out into your day, relating with the world. And of course, things are going to come up that are going to disrupt that nice little bubble of peace that we created when we are by ourselves. So, as I think often happens when people are offering a series like what I'm offering, I myself am engaging the energy. And sure enough, yesterday, after that beautiful experience of creating our bubble of peace, I had a major triggering experience yesterday afternoon. And it truly it really like uprooted me. I was so deeply triggered. It felt like it was just like really going to the core of my sense of safety in the world. So it was a huge disruption to my nice little bubble of peace. And so some of the steps that I took are very practical steps, and I think it's worthwhile talking about some of the practical things that we can do in order to ride the wave and extend that experience of peace. So one of the first things that I did was I got out my Young Living essential oils and I started working with calming oils in order to start to calm my nervous system. And then I got down onto the floor and started doing some body work, moving my body, being present with my body as I gently moved it. And this also helped to get to a safer experience within my body, because really that's the first thing that we have to do once our peace has been jolted. So then I started working with some breathing. And I mean, you don't have to do this in any particular order. It's just you need to start to feel into things that you can do that are going to help you come into more of a sense of peace within yourself. So in my case, a third thing I did was doing some conscious breathing, something actually that my chiropractor, very, very skilled healer, taught in a recent course where you simply put your hands on your sides of your rib cage and you breathe in and out and you are like consciously connecting with your hands. So I just did 3 of these. I don't know, I feel like calling it sort of a hug breath. Just 3 of those can help you come into a much calmer place. So I'm sharing 3 strategies that I have used, and I'm sure that everybody connecting with this video has their own strategies. It would be awesome if you would share your strategies in the comments as well. Things that can help you when you're triggered to come into more of a place of feeling calmer in yourself, calming your nervous system so that you are feeling, back in your body, feeling grounded again. And so this is the first part of being able to ride the wave, because it is inevitable that things are going to happen that are going to upset us or trigger us, things that are going to jostle our sense of peace. And so by having this repertoire, this toolbox of things that you can access, and also feeling it's very accessible. So like having it be your go-to, where you naturally, when you are triggered, you go to these strategies to help calm yourself down. So if yesterday was creating our bubble of peace, it was sort of the yin, the feminine aspect of being able to settle yourself, surrendering and settling yourself into a place of peace. So riding the wave is where you get into your yang, where you get into your divine masculine. And so the first pieces are those simple first steps of calming your nervous system. But then you also need to deal with the challenge. And so this is where things become less clear. And that is why it is called riding the wave. So riding the wave is calling on the metaphor of surfing, where you have this predictable yet maybe not predictable wave that may change in its power that is beneath you. You could potentially just be tumbled with your surfboard under the wave and, be pushed underwater and, lose your grounding in that way. You might not really catch the wave, and the wave just goes by and you are just floating, not going anywhere. These are two options, but the option that we're aiming for in today's theme is riding the wave. So what that implies is actually engaging the energy of the situation that has disrupted your peace. And so how do we engage it in a skillful way, like how a surfer rides a wave? We don't want to engage it in a way where we just get pounded under. We don't want to hide in another room and just not engage it at all. Although in some cases that might be the wisest thing. But for the sake of our discussion today, we're talking about engaging the energy, riding the wave. And so this is where you need to develop some skill for being able to engage energy. I personally feel that sitting meditation, mindfulness meditation, is the best way to develop your skill for riding the wave. That is what I've been practicing since I was around 5 years old. So around 50 years, I've been practicing meditation. That's really how I developed my expertise at riding the wave. So you need to be able to engage the energy. And of course, you don't know what the energy is to begin with. So it's this uncertain terrain. But by calming yourself down, getting in your body, you can then move into a place of curiosity and being able to explore what is the energy that has caused my trigger. What is this energy that is appearing? What is its nature? So it may be that something happened with someone at work. In that case, maybe after you have come to your calm place again, you can then go and ask that person, could we have a conversation about what just happened there? I would really like to understand what was happening with you. And so perhaps the person says, yes, but I really need to finish this, this email that I am sending off. And so you say, fine, take your time. I'll be over by the water cooler. I would love to see you when you're able to come over. So you've invited the conversation, and so your work colleague comes over a couple minutes later. They've probably had a chance to settle a bit more themselves as well. And so you can bring some curiosity, what was going on with you when we had that interaction that went so badly? And so maybe the person would know what to say, but energies can be tricky, especially when there's conflict. The person may not even know yet what was going on. So, again, here's where it can come back to you to be able to say, well, what was happening in me is that when you said such and such, I was feeling such and such, like this impacted me. I was feeling like, I was losing your support, or, whatever was going on. So sharing from your experience can be a way of becoming curious and learning what is going on here. And so also writing the wave can take patience. It may take a couple of conversations for whatever that core energy was, for it to finally come out into the light. But by gently engaging and being curious, you are actually writing the energy. You're engaging it, but you're not clobbering it. It's a lot more elegant. It's like surfing a wave. So you have to learn to trust yourself, which again is something that can come from something like practicing meditation. You need to learn that trust in yourself to be able to make a move, to ride that energy. It does require a lot of self-trust, and it requires courage. You have to be willing to face things that maybe you don't like to face. Maybe things in the world, maybe things within yourself. But you know what? If you do something like meditate every day, regularly, you can develop that courage muscle to be able to stay present even in the face of something that you don't really want to see. And so this is also another key part of riding the wave, is developing that courage muscle. Yes, your courage muscle. And I think the last aspect that I will add to this riding of the wave is to enjoy it. I mean, we've got this precious human life, and it has these various textures and qualities, and some of them are when things are in disharmony. So enjoying yourself, enjoying your courage, enjoying your strength, that you're taking proactive steps first to calm yourself and then to engage the situation, bringing curiosity to learn what is this interesting energy that has come up, that has caused such an upheaval to my peace. So obviously it's not for the faint of heart, but it is such a good thing to do as human beings, to engage the energies that are coming up in our life, engage the energies that disrupt our peace, not just getting plowed over by them, not just going and, hiding in a room, but actually finding some simple ways of stepping into it and learning with someone else. And of course, relationships are so important. So working through conflict in our important relationships, but also having our people that we can connect with and circle around with. I so value the community, even that is gathered here today for this live. I'm so appreciating that the things that are being shared. So Eden, becoming aware, you were sharing some strategies here, and I'd like to share them here. Eden, becoming aware of my physical body sensations are helpful for me. Body awareness and breathing. These are very, very powerful, simple and powerful ways to be able to calm ourselves when we're upset. And Jenna shares, identify what the emotion triggered is, applying what will soothe. So I like that, breaking it down, first understanding what the emotion triggered is. Like, what am I feeling? I mean, sometimes we can be feeling excited about something, but we experiencing it as a threat. Like there are similar ways that we can experience different emotions, very different emotions. We can experience them in a similar way in our body. So taking that moment to discern what is the emotion that has been triggered. I love that, Jenna. And then applying what will soothe it. Eden, also, you shared that meditation is so grounding. And Jenna, you're sharing always worth exploring what comes up in conflict and the most potent of practices. Very grateful you offer such important tools. Well, and I'm very grateful for the community here that is also sharing such wonderful tools. So having a sense of community can really buffer us against harsh experiences. So I really appreciate all of you for connecting in for this particular live. I will admit, I was nervous about doing this one, and that is part of riding the wave. I was stepping into my nervousness, but it really helps me to be surrounded by friends. So I really appreciate your engagement today, and I take that and leave that as my last suggestion is how important it is to gather friends around us, to have those friends to help to buffer us through the difficult times, because there are a lot of difficult times happening in this world right now. So that's why it's so important for us to invest in our relationships with each other. So, hey, Patty, so happy to see you. So I'd also like to share what you've shared, Patty. One-sided desire to communicate is something I've had to deal with. A sense of lack of completion because the other person isn't willing or interested in resolving or discussing. Okay, so let's just take a moment and be with this, because I know that we have all been in this situation. So that heartbreak. So appreciating your courage, your willingness, Patty, and also bringing some tender support for when the other person is not willing to connect and to resolve the conflict. That can be a very tender experience for us to have. And if I may suggest, this is also something that you can bring into quiet practice, whether you meditate or whether you just intentionally take a little time in nature, or intentionally take a little time to listen to some tender music. Can be another way of taking some quiet time with yourself. And you can bring in the intention of bringing healing light to the relationship. So even when a relationship is stuck in the outside world, there are things that we can do to shift the energy just slightly. And it can bring a greater sense of peace to yourself, because you know that you are bringing healing energy into the relationship, even if the other person is not yet willing to resolve the conflict. And for those who would like a more advanced energy work, and this is something that Eden and I practice every day, it's something that we invest heavily in working with. It is called the violet flame. And so the violet flame is a very powerful energy for transmuting any kind of painful or negative or dark experiences. The violet flame is a spiritual energy that we can bring in. And the special thing about the violet flame is that it operates under what is called the law of grace. So normally when we are bringing healing to another person, we need to ask their permission. They need to give permission. And the violet flame is a special way of bringing healing to a situation where we do not need to ask permission. It is something that we bring under the law of grace. And that means that whatever the other person's highest self is willing to receive, they will receive it. So it's governed at that level of the highest self. I do encourage anybody who has never encountered the violet flame, do a little Google search. It's a powerful way of transmuting powerfully dense energies. And one of the most important people that have brought it forward within our scope on the life on the planet Earth is Saint Germain. Very, very, very powerful person who brought forward the violet flame and used it to transmute powerful, powerful energies and help many people. So I've gone well beyond what I expected to go today. But I just want to say I really appreciate everybody who came out live. I'm wishing you a beautiful rest of the day. And I will be coming back for one final episode of Create Your Bubble of Peace tomorrow. And in some ways, it is going to be the most powerful episode. It is what will most deeply give you peace. So if you can come live, we'd love to see you. And if you can't, then catch the replay. It is going to be a powerful one. Okay, bye bye for now.